Hello everyone, hope you all are doing great. Guys, this video is going to be very helpful for all network engineers. In this video, we are going to configure routing on multi-layer switches. As you know, nowadays we are using layer 3 switch for routing purpose in my company, right? Because layer 3 switch can perform routing, then there is no logic to purchase a router for the routing purpose. Definitely we are using router whenever, because we cannot configure edge technology on layer 3 switches. But what I am saying, if I am using a device only for routing and switching, that time I can use layer 3 switch. And nowadays many organizations are using layer 3 switches for routing. So today in this video I am going to make you understand the EIGRP configuration on layer 3 switches. So EIGRP is not important. We are not going to understand anything about EIGRP. Here we need to understand the concepts, guys, right? What is the concept? So see, first of all, let me make you familiar with this topology, and then I will take you to the configuration part. Done? Okay. So see, I have 3 PC. All PCs are connected with switch. PC1 is connected with switch 1, PC2 is connected with switch 2, and PC3 is connected with switch 3. My first requirement is link between switches must be configured as trunk. So this link can be your layer 2 link, right? You cannot configure this port as layer 3 port, and you can if you will configure this port as layer 3 port, then directly you can configure IP address there. But this link between switches is trunk, so we cannot configure IP address on the physical interface of layer 3 switch. After that, second recommendation from the organization is you need to create SVI for VLAN 10 on switch number 1. You need to create SVI for VLAN 20 on switch number 2, and we need to create SVI for VLAN 30 on switch number 3. That means here you can see the IP address of PC1 is 10.1.1.1, and this one is the gateway 10.1.1.100. So on switch number 1 you will create one SVI, and on that SVI interface you will configure this IP address, and that IP address will become default gateway for PC1. In the same way, you will create one SVI on switch number 2 for VLAN 20, and there you will configure this IP address 20.1.1.100. On switch number 3 you will configure this IP address on SVI interface. After that, you have to configure routing so that each network should be reachable with each other, so that PC1 can communicate with PC2 or PC2 can communicate with PC3. That means all users should be able to communicate with each other. So by default, if you will check routing table of switch 1, there will be only 10 network. In the same way, in the routing table of switch 2, there will be 20 network, and in the routing table of switch 3, there will be 30 network, right? And as you know, the link between switches is my trunk. So how we will form EIGRP neighborship between switches? For that, what I will do, I will create one more SVI on switch number 1, let's say SVI 12. Here I will configure SVI 12, and on that I will configure IP address 12.1.1.1, and on switch number 2 also I will create one SVI 12. There I will configure IP 12.1.1.2. So what will happen? As you know, trunk link is member of all VLAN. So this switch will send one EIGRP hello message from trunk link from the actually VLAN 12 interface, and VLAN 12 interface is member of VLAN 12 is actually member of trunk link only. So it will forward hello message from trunk link. In the same way, switch 2 will also forward hello message from trunk link, and then EIGRP neighborship will come up. Let's see it's working or not. Hope it should work. Let me show you guys a step-by-step configuration. First of all, I am going to configure the IP address on PCs. So let me take access of PC1. Here I am going to configure one IP, that is IP 10.1.1.1/24, and gateway is 10.1.1.100. Done. In the same way, let me configure one IP on PC2 and PC3. IP 20.1.1.1/24 and gateway is 20.1.1.100. PC3 IP 30.1.1.1/24 and 30.1.1.100. Guys, today we are going to cover lots of interview questions as well, because lots of time interviewer is also asking question from these concepts. So you are actually going to learn lots of concept here in this video, and through this concept you can crack interview as well. So now I am going to take access of switch 1. Here first of all I am going to configure the VLAN. So enable config t host name, let's say switch 1, and interface E0/0 switch port access VLAN 10. So I am going to put this interface in VLAN 10. Automatically switch will create one VLAN. Okay, so I think VLAN 10 is already exist there. Do so VLAN brief. So yes, you can see VLAN 10 is already there, right? Now I am going to create one SVI. So interface VLAN 10, say no set, and here I am going to say IP address is 10.1.1.100, 10.1.1.100 and 255.255.255.0. Okay, after that, okay, first of all let me configure switch 2 and switch 3, then I will show you the routing configuration concept, guys. Here config t host name switch 2 and interface E0/1 switch port access VLAN 20. This port is in VLAN 20, and I need to configure link between switches at trunk as well. So interface E0/0 and switch port trunk encapsulation .1q, let's say, and switch port mode trunk. Done. In the same way on switch number 1 also, let me configure the trunk. Interface E0/2 switch port trunk encapsulation .1q and switch port mode trunk. Done. So interface trunk allowed VLAN is VLAN 1, 10 and 12. Okay, done. Now let me take you on switch number 3. And here this link between switch 2 and switch 3 also I need to configure trunk. So let me run one more command on switch 2. Interface E0/3. I am configuring trunking manually. So switch port trunk encapsulation .1q and switch port mode trunk. Done. Now on switch number 3, enable config t host name switch 3 and interface E0/1 switch port access VLAN 30. This interface is in VLAN 30. Here I am going to create one SVI for VLAN 30. Interface, okay, interface E0/0 switch port trunk encapsulation .1q and switch port mode trunk, and do so interface trunk. So here you can see allowed VLAN on the trunk link is only VLAN 1 and VLAN 30. Okay, now interface VLAN 30, I am going to create SVI, and here IP address is 30.1.1.100, 255.255.255.0. say no set. Done. And you can verify. So do so IP interface brief, let's say exclude unassign as well. So here you can see my SVI interface is up, right? And here I am running IP 30.1.1.100. Now let me check on switch number 2. Do so IP interface brief, exclude unassign. Okay, so here I think I have not created SVI, so interface VLAN 10 no cert and IP address is 20.1.1.100 255.255.255.0. Done. Do so IP interface brief, exclude unassign. Okay, so SVI is up. In the same way you can verify it on switch number 1 also. So IP interface brief, exclude unassign. So your SVI is up. Now let me verify my all users, LAN users are able to ping gateway or not. Ping 10.1.1.100. So yes, PC1 is able to ping their default gateway. PC2 can also ping their default gateway 20.1.1.1. Yes, sorry, 100. Yeah, it's pinging, and PC3 should also ping their default gateway, that is 30.1.1.100. Okay, so all PCs are able to ping their default gateway, but they cannot ping other PC, like PC1 cannot ping 20.1.1.1, right? Host unreachable, because switch number 1 does not, their default gateway does not have any route for that network. So IP route. Okay, in the routing table of this switch you can see only 10 network is there. In the same way, if you will verify the routing table of switch 2, so IP route, only 20 network is there, and switch number 3, so IP route 30 network is there. Done, guys. Now what I am going to do, I am going to configure EIGRP over here. So if I will configure EIGRP directly, then EIGRP neighborship will not come up. You know why? Because if here you will run EIGRP and you will advertise 10 prefixes, so it will send hello message from which interface? From VLAN 10 interface, right? And EIGRP neighborship will not come up. So again I am going to create one more SVI over here, that is 12, and here I am going to configure IP 12.1.1.1, let's say, sorry, interface VLAN 12 and IP address is 12.1.1.1 255.255.255.0. I have configured this IP address, let's say no set, right? Say router EIGRP ES number 10 and network 12.1.1.0, right? Say no auto summary as well, guys. Done. Now I am going to take you on switch number 2, and here also I am going to create one SVI interface VLAN 12, and here IP address is 12.1.1.2 255.255.255.0. Done. And say no set as well. Exit router EIGRP S number 10 and network. I'm going to advertise 12.1.1.0, right? And say no auto summary. Let me check that EIGRP neighborship is up or not. So IP EIGRP neighbor. So EIGRP neighborship is down here. I am running EIGRP S number 100, and on switch number 1 I think I have configured EIGRP 10. Okay, so let me remove EIGRP 100 configuration from here. Say no router EIGRP 100, and say router EIGRP 100, sorry, no 100, and router EIGRP 10. Sorry guys, what I am doing. Router EIGRP 10 and network 12.1.1.0. Say no auto summary as well. So now you can see EIGRP neighborship is up between switch 1 and switch 2. In the same way, To form EIGRP neighborship between switch 2 and switch 3, I am going to, let's say, create SVI 23. So interface VLAN 23 and IP address is, let's say, 23.1.1.2 over here, 255.255.255.0 over here, right? I am going to advertise this network in EIGRP, say router EIGRP 10 and network 23.1.1.0. Let me take you on switch number 3 now. Router EIGRP 10 and network 23.1.1.0. Say no auto summary and interface. First of all, let me create the SVI interface VLAN 23. IP address is 23.1.1.3 255.255.255.0. Say no set and router EIGRP 10 no auto summary and network is 23.1.1.0. So IP EIGRP neighbor. So EIGRP neighbor is still down. I need to check the SVI interface. So IP interface brief exclude unassign. Your SVI interface is down, guys. May I know the reason why it is down? For that you have to check the trunk link. So interface trunk. So on the trunk link in allowed VLAN you can say 23 is not there because VLAN 23 is not available in the VLAN database. So VLAN brief you can see. So here I need to create VLAN 23 and say exit. Now so IP interface brief exclude unassign. Still my SVI is down. So interface trunk VLAN 23 is there. So interface trunk, guys. Here VLAN 23 is allowed and now you can see your SVI is up. I think yes, your SVI is up. You can check the EIGRP neighborship. So IP EIGRP neighbor is still down. Debug IP EIGRP or debug EIGRP packets hello. So it is sending hello message from VLAN 20 interface. Okay guys, so here it's fine. Say on all and on switch number 2 then I need to verify. I think there is some misconfiguration on switch 2. So IP interface brief exclude unassigned. First of all, SVI interface is up or down. So here SVI interface is down and it is administratively down. So actually I need to run no set command on interface VLAN 23. Say no set. And so IP interface brief exclude unassigned. Still SVI is down. So VLAN brief, because I think now 23 is not available in VLAN database. So I need to create VLAN 23 over here. VLAN 23 exit. So interface trunk, because on trunk link that VLAN should be allowed, yes or no, then only it will send hello message from trunk link. So IP interface brief exclude unassign. So still your SVI interface is down. Maybe it will take some time, after that it will come up. So interface VLAN. Okay, now you can see your neighborship is up with both switch. So IP EIGRP neighbor. Now we are going to do what? Now we are going to advertise the prefixes in EIGRP. Through EIGRP, I am going to share 10 prefix to switch 2 and switch 3. I am going to share 20 prefix to switch 1 and switch 3. I am going to share 30 prefix to switch 2 and switch 1. Done? Okay, so let me take you on switch number 1 first. Here router EIGRP 10 and network. I'm going to advertise 10 network now. Done. So it will include 10 network in their update message. Switch 2 will receive 10 prefixes. So on switch number 2, so IP route EIGRP, you can see it have received the 10 prefix, yes or no. I am going to advertise 20 prefix over here on this switch. So router EIGRP S number 10 and network is 20.1.1.0, and switch number 3 I am going to advertise 30 network. Router EIGRP 10 and network 30.1.1.0, and show IP route EIGRP. Now you can see this router have 10 prefixes, soon it is going to learn 20 as well. Okay, it is not receiving 20. Let me check switch number 2. Okay, so I have advertised it in EIGRP 100. Sorry, no router EIGRP 100, guys. I'm running router EIGRP 10 and network 20.1.1.0. Done. Now let me take you on switch number 3, and here show IP route EIGRP. Now you can see 20 network is also there and 10 network is also there. In fact 12 is also there, right? In the same way on switch number 1 also you can verify show IP route EIGRP. 20 and 30 is there. In fact 23 is also there, right? Now PC1 can ping to any other PC. 20.1.1.1, see it's working. Done. I can ping 30.1.1.1 also. Ping 30.1.1.1. Okay. So guys, this is how we should configure a routing or any routing protocols on multi-layer switches, and how we can form a routing protocol neighborship between two layer 3 switches. Okay, if you have learned something from this video, please hit on like button, guys. If you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe this channel. We will meet soon in next video. Till then, stay safe. Bye bye.